You're relocating to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and you've got a list of suburbs that you keep hearing about. But every single one of them looks the same in the photos, and you're worried you're going to pick the wrong one and be stuck with a brutal commute and a tax bill that nobody warned you about. I don't just sell homes in these suburbs. I live and work out here every day. And there's a line on about half of the new construction listings that quietly adds $2,000 to $3,000 a year to your payment, and most people have never even heard about it. Right now, around 400 people are moving to DFW every single day. The best positioned suburbs, the right schools, the right commute, the tax setup are all pricing up faster than the rest. Pick smart in the next year, and you're going to look like a genius in 5. But most people do this backwards. They pick the house first, and they pick the schools, the tax setup, and the commute second. But this is exactly how you end up with the right house in the wrong suburbs. So I'm giving you an honest map, how these suburbs all fit together. The real cost of living down to the hidden fees, and which area fits your life. Whether it be the mid-cities like Euless, Hurst, North Richland Hills, Grapevine, Colleyville, or even Arlington and Grand Prairie, all before you ever write an offer. I do this every week with families coming from other states like California, New York, and it all boils down to what nobody will put in the brochure. Let's get into it and stick around for section 2 because that's the one that costs people the most and almost nobody sees it coming. One thing before we talk neighborhoods is out here, you're really not choosing a house, you're choosing a commute. And the people who forget this are the ones that are leaving regret comments 2 years later. Here's why. DFW is huge and it's spread out. And it really wasn't built for the traffic it has today. And there's really no public safety transit net. So your daily drive, it really ends up being your quality of life. The metro is so big that where you work changes everything. Downtown Fort Worth, the airport corridor, Las Colinas, Irving, Dallas. Each one points you to a different part of the map. I had a family last year fall in love with a bigger, cheaper house way on the edge. The house was beautiful, but the commute was over an hour each way. So the house was perfect, but the commute cost them over 10 hours a week. Now, I'll be honest with you, even with the traffic, the commute math is still better than Chicago, Los Angeles, or the Northeast. I'm not telling you it's bad. I'm just telling you to make sure and pick it on purpose. So before you fall in love with a suburb, answer one simple question. Where are you going to drive every single day? Hold on to that answer because that will dictate which suburb is yours in section 3. This is the section I told you to stick around for. Everybody talks about Texas having no state income tax, and that's real, and it's a genuine win. Your money goes further than places like Illinois, New York, or even California. But there's a trade that nobody mentions until you're at the closing table. Texas makes it back on property tax. The effective rate across DFW is anywhere from 2 to 2.5% of the home's value, depending on the city and the district. On a $450,000 home, that's roughly $9,000 to $11,000 a year. So when you're budgeting, you have to look at the full monthly picture, not just the mortgage payment. Now here's the one I promised you, a hidden line. It's called a MUD or a PID. A MUD stands for Municipal Utility District, and a PID stands for Public Improvement District. In plain English, they're a tax that's really common in brand new construction communities because somebody had to pay for the roads, the water, and the amenities in those new communities. It can add anywhere from 0.5% to over 1% on top of your normal tax rate. And on a lot of homes out there, That's anywhere from $2,000 to $3,500 a year, and sometimes that's for decades. And here's what gets people. It shows up as one boring line on the listing. The house 2 streets over may not even have it. Same price, 2 different monthly payments. It's the number one thing that majority of my relocation clients have not even heard of. One more. Homeowners insurance runs more here than other parts of the country because of the wind, the hail, the heat. So you need to make sure and budget for this from day one. Remember how I said that most people pick the house first? This is the reason that's expensive. The right house in a high mud community can cost you more every month than a bigger house 2 miles away. If you're relocating here and you're looking for somebody to run the numbers for you, the commute, the tax rate, the PID and mud included, before you fall for a listing, this is exactly what my team does. I've put a free Fort Worth relocation guide in the description below, along with a link to book a call. Now, here's the part you actually came for. I'm not going to rattle off 20 random towns. I'm going to show you how these suburbs actually group together so you can find your zone fast. First, the mid-cities. That's Hurst, Euless, Bedford, North Richland Hills, Watauga, and Haltom City. These are mature, established, and sit dead center of the metro. The big win here is commute. You're minutes from the airport, Dallas, and Fort Worth. Pricing is mid-range. The trade-off is older housing and fewer of those shiny master plan communities. This is for commuters and value buyers who want to be central. Haltom City is your most affordable entry. North Richland Hills has your most amenities from the group. Next, the Northeast. That's Grapevine and Colleyville. This is considered the higher end side. They've got excellent Grapevine Colleyville schools, Grapevine historic Main Street, the lake, and you're nearby the airport. Resale here is strong. The catch is the price of entry. And in certain parts of Grapevine, you will hear some airport noise. So that's definitely something to check before you buy. This one is for higher budgets that prioritize schools, charm, and long-term value. Then the entertainment side, or the south side. That's Arlington and Grand Prairie. More to do and sit right between Dallas and Fort Worth. They're more affordable, and you have the entertainment district, the Cowboys, the Rangers, and Six Flags. It's great if you split time between both downtowns. The honest cons, Arlington famously has no public transit and lots of game day traffic. And the schools vary a lot by pocket, so you have to zone carefully. This is for buyers who want space, value, and to be equidistant from both major cities. And finally, Fort Worth proper, the anchor city, real character, and more affordable than Dallas. You get culture, Sundance Square, the stockyards, and big city access without the Dallas prices. The trade-offs are big city property tax and the usual big city differences depending on the neighborhood. This is for people who want city life and a short commute to downtown Fort Worth jobs. Now notice I'm not naming one single best. The best zone is the one for the commute that you locked in back in Section 1 and the budget you set back in Section 2. Now let me do one thing most realtors won't. Let me tell you the people that are going to be unhappy out here, because I'd rather you know now than move here and find out later. First, the heat is real. July and August are some of the hottest months. And if going outside is a non-negotiable for you, you just need to know that ahead of time before coming down here permanently. Second, if you need walkable, transit city-friendly living, most of these suburbs are going to disappoint, and especially Arlington. This is considered car country, and I'd hate to pretend otherwise. Third, you're going to hear people say that these towns aren't what they used to be. And realistically, there's a lot of growth out here. So basically, getting out here now is going to accomplish more for you than waiting years down the road where you're going to end up paying more for less. And the whole transplant tension thing that you might hear sometimes on the media, that's way overblown. Let's face it, everybody out here came from somewhere. And so I promise you'll be just fine. So picture this. A Saturday a year from now, your kids are off to school at a school that you actually researched. Your drive is 20 minutes and not 70. Your payments are exactly what you expected because nothing hidden snuck in. That's not luck. That's just doing things in the right order. Drop a comment and tell me, are you relocating from out of state to the DFW area, or are you simply a local that's just trying to find the right area? I'll read these comments and I'll answer. So that's the honest map. The commute decides more than the house. The mud and PID decide more than the price tag. And the right area is the one that fits your life, not the one with the prettiest listing. If you're relocating here and you want to do things in the right order with somebody that actually lives in these neighborhoods, grab the free relocation guide and book a call in the description below. Now, don't pick the wrong suburb because nobody told you the truth, because now you've heard it.